Welcome, dear listeners. Are you ready to delve into the darkness once again? From inexplicable paranormal encounters to unsettling mysteries that remain unsolved, we've heard it all in our past 2 seasons, haven't we? But rest assured, the chills are far from over. In fact, we're just beginning to scratch the surface of the unknown. In Season 3, we've gathered a bone-chilling collection of tales that will test the boundaries of your imagination and question the reality you think you know. So, as we take this next step into the shadows together, I want to extend a warm thank you to our loyal listeners who have journeyed with us so far, and a hearty welcome to the newcomers who have just stumbled upon our dark little corner of the internet. Remember, there's no turning back now. Once you've peered into the darkness, it peeks back at you. So, turn down the lights, put on your headphones, and let the stories unfold. And, of course, remember to breathe, it can get rather unnerving. Welcome to Season 3. I first noticed something was off the day after Christmas. My husband Brad and I had driven down from the city for a few days to spend time with my parents. It was going as well as it could, I guess. The holiday meals are always weird for me because I'm a vegetarian. My dad hates this. "You're insulting your mother," he said loudly over our Christmas Eve dinner, his mouth full of mashed potatoes. "It's not normal to not eat chicken." "Dad," I began, "I've been vegetarian for years. You know that." "Or, come on. It's just chicken. Your mother worked hard on this." My mother gave me an uncomfortable glance. "I'll eat her slice," my husband interjected, winking at me as he reached for the platter and loaded his plate with several slabs of white meat. I rolled my eyes and made a silly face at him that made him grin. My husband tolerated my family somewhat better than I did. Easy for him, he didn't grow up with them. Sometimes I felt like my parents liked him more than me. Whatever. I did my best to tune out my father's news and politics-fueled complaining at the other end of the table, focusing instead on my green beans and sweet potatoes. "So honey," my mother asked a few minutes later, "when are you two going to finally give us a grandchild?" "Mom," I yelled. "Seriously?" "Well honey, you aren't getting any younger." "Thanks a lot." I resented this line of questioning. My husband knew how I felt, and rescued me again. "I don't know if we're ready for that yet." Our eyes locked briefly. "Well, don't put it off for too long," she sniffed. I knew she was judging me, assuming it was all my fault, that I was a heartless bitch denying my husband of his God-given right to children. But that wasn't remotely true. I just wasn't ready to reveal that we had actually been trying for a baby for several months now, with no success. Long after we cleared the table and my parents went to bed, Brad and I sat together on the basement couch watching reruns of The Office. "I'm starting to get a headache," he complained. "Do you want some Excedrin?" I asked. "I think there's some still in my purse." "No, actually," he said slowly, running his hand down my back. "But I wouldn't mind doing something else." My mind turned back to my mother's questioning at the dinner table. I smiled lazily. "Sure. I'm sure they're asleep already anyway." I knew from years of high school experimentation that the basement was blissfully soundproof to the rest of the house. The day had been chaotic and loud, and I couldn't think of a better way to end it than with some quiet time together in the glow of the basement TV. After we finished up, we slipped into bed, but our rest was short-lived. I awoke hours later to Brad tossing and turning next to me under the covers. "Stop moving," I complained. "Just lay still and go the hell to sleep. I'm a deep sleeper, always have been, and I hate waking up in the middle of the night." "I can't sleep," he huffed, jerking the blanket. I sat up and shook his shoulder. "What's wrong? Really? Do you need another pillow?" He sighed, and turned the lamp on. "My head still hurts. I think I'm getting a big zit back there. There's a knot, I can feel it." I frowned. "Turn over, let me look at it." I never missed an opportunity to squeeze a zit. But one look at the back of his head killed any zit-popping excitement I had. A huge lump the size of a golf ball had risen up on the back of his head. I gripped his skull to get a better look. "You're burning up," I said. "Something's wrong." "Really?" he asked, his face muffled by the pillow. I cautiously probed the lump with my finger. "Ow!" he barked. "Quit! That shit hurts." I barely touched it. "I think you need to go to urgent care." He swore. "You've got to be kidding me. Not right now." "Okay, let's look at it in the morning," I relented. We fell into a few hours of fitful sleep, before getting up the next day. Brad truly looked awful, with glassy eyes and flushed skin. My mother chattered nervously about the flu. I was more concerned with the lump on his head, which was now swollen to the size of a goose egg. I shepherded him to the car. My mother followed us, a bagel in hand. I rolled my eyes. "He's not going to starve in 30 minutes, Mom." That's when I saw it. The buttons on her cardigan were all in the wrong holes, and her eyes looked glassy too, or was I just imagining things? "Come on," I said to Brad, giving him a push towards the door as he shoved a piece of bagel in his mouth. We were fortunate that my parents lived just a few miles from the local hospital. We walked into the nearly empty ER and began filling out paperwork. "Just come with me," he shrugged, when his name was called. We took a seat in the small exam room. The nurse frowned at his high temperature. "Hun, I'm going to test you for flu." She looked at me. "You ought to get a test as well. It's going around like crazy right now." So we tested. I was negative. Turns out, so was he. I then pointed to the giant knot on the back of his head. She clucked when she saw it. "Oh, that looks bad," she said. "We're going to have to lance it." She made him lay face down on the table while she got prepared. That's when I noticed. My husband's shirt was on inside out, which I thought was odd. Being the insane human that I am, I watched with sick pleasure as the nurse lanced my husband's boil. I expected it to explode with liquid, but it didn't. Or not really. Instead, the inside of the boil looked like a mass of extremely fine spaghetti, almost like white hairs. Yellow pus dripped down from the opening. The nurse made a face as she pulled out a blob of the spaghetti. "What the?" But her complaints were cut short, because Brad started convulsing. Alright, my friends, we've reached the end of yet another eerie journey through the shadows of Reddit's most chilling tales. I sincerely hope you found these stories as riveting and spine-chilling as I did. The world is full of mysteries, isn't it? Remember, if you've enjoyed today's exploration into the unknown, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends who also love a good scare. It's always more fun to explore the shadows together. A big heartfelt thank you to all of our subscribers, listeners and patrons out there. Your support is invaluable. It keeps the lights on here, and more importantly, keeps us delving into the eerie corners of the internet to bring you the best scary stories out there. If you've encountered any creepy occurrences or have your own chilling stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out to us via Subreddit Chronicles at gmail.com. We always love hearing from you, and who knows, your story might just feature in one of our future episodes. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your hearts brave, and your lights on. After all, you never know what's lurking in the shadows. This is your host, signing off. Stay safe and keep exploring the unexplored.